You see where I'm at? I didn't want to go home. I just brought an extra shirt, and it says New York versus everybody. I didn't want to leave. I told y'all I'm hiding out in the air conditioned event. But I want to just say this. First and foremost, New York City is in a frenzy. Knicks fans are in a frenzy. You can't help but feel great. Not good, great today if you're a New York Knicks fan. And New York City, it's unbelievable. But I really have to say this. You know, so much criticism going to be handed the way of the San Antonio Spurs, and rightfully so. A lot of decisions that in my so-called day after, I always come away with. The fact is that San Antonio, De'Aaron Fox, not your finest moment. I'm not going to criticize him. He's getting a lot of that. And I'm quite certain when he reviews the tapes, he understands some of the decisions that are made. He's human. We all make mistakes, critical moments. Look at Josh Hart. He had a wide open layup, and his decision to get caught between dunking or lay the ball up, empty possession, and then come to have, the watching the shot go up and not finding somebody to box out, and you having Stephon Castle sneak in and get the rebound. Miscues and critical moments, they happen. Those are human mistakes, human errors. However, when I'm looking at Mitch Johnson, young coach for the San Antonio Spurs, they're going to have to go back and look at a couple of moments in this series that really changed the outcome and the fortune for this team. Number one, some of the decisions where, look, you got Victor Wembanyama. You're going to have to make some adjustments to feed him like the big man he is. The inconsistency with this team, yeah, you shot lights out first half. Everybody was throwing up threes. They was hitting them. But at the end of the day, your bread and butter is Victor Wembanyama. And when he operates around that paint, he's unstoppable. A lot of people will sit back and say, hey, they didn't have no problem with Stephon Castle being a decoy on the last shot, which was actually tipped by Karl Anthony Towns. I have a problem with it. I'm riding with Victor Wembanyama. Win, lose, or draw. They did it in game 2. So I'm a little hesitant and concerned. I'm a little concerned about that. Number 2, when you up 29, and this has been something I've said so many times, we are seeing a lack of set plays and fundamental coaching. When you have guys and you up 29 and you are not running set plays, when you looking at teams making the rally and you're trying to figure out ways, you call a timeout to kill the momentum, that's when you come out with a set play designed to go to your go-to guy. So that 2 options to happen. Either they get fouled or they score the basket. Nevertheless, you got to make sure you get a set play that's a guaranteed bucket getter. And I don't see that in the NBA as often. I don't see it at all. And a lot of the times, it's certain little subtle decisions. Now, clearly, when I look at the Spurs, experience not only from the players, but from the coaches. Mike Brown making the right moves in terms of putting in Jose Alvarado, pairing him up with Jalen Brunson, now to alleviate the ball handling duties, setting up the offense for the others. It doesn't have to fall on Brunson, who's trying to find his offense. Those little subtle adjustments are significant. And it was interesting because in the span of maybe an hour, 2 hours, the Knicks or even hours, 2 hours, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, the Knicks went from being 2-2, headed back to San Antonio with clearly all the momentum with the Spurs, to now up 3-1. And can you believe it? They are 1 game away from ending the 53-year drought. I'm scared. I'm nervous. But I'm also excited because reality that this can happen and will happen is getting closer and closer. But I will say this, Knicks fans, remember when the Knicks were up 3-2, headed back to get back Houston to face the Rockets when the series in the finals was 2-3-2. When you went in a space where you went 2-3-2. So the Knicks took their last game at the Garden against the Rockets, went up 3-2, headed back to Houston, lost game 6, and we know the outcome of game 7. So err on the side of caution to understand the saving grace is the Knicks are going to have another game 6 if they have to, in Madison Square Garden. But I don't want it to get to that. And I think I speak for all Knicks fans. Take care of the business. It's going to be something epic, New York City, if this Knicks team wins in San Antonio. And for the people out there throwing eggs, I know that's not everybody. And I don't want people outside of New York to say that it epitomizes what New York sports fans are about. Because those are bozos. Those are bozos that are attacking that young man. They're attacking him. And I always caution people when you do stupid stuff like that. Because what if that young man had an opportunity, hypothetically, say, you know what, when it's time for him to be a free agent, he wants to move on to a major city. Not to say he will, but it's those type of moments when people are doing silly stuff, cursing at them at the bus. Boo! Boo, do whatever you got to do. But throwing stuff and then the violence on the street, that's not the representation of all New Yorkers. This is great. Let's not dirty up the celebration, the memories of what is about to come for the New York Knicks and New York fans. I got my shirt, New York versus everybody. I stand proud. Knicks, Knicks, Knicks. It's the day after. Game 5. Is it going to be epic? I'm sure we all going to be watching. Bottom Line Sports Show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram at G Brown Sports. X, the original Gerald Brown. Peace.